Hi, everybody. Before we get into the episode, I wanted to let you all know that Charlie and I have both had some really big life events going on recently, some changes and whatnot. And so to focus on ourselves a little bit, we're going to be taking next week off. We should be right back to our regular uploads after that. We're just taking a quick break. So for now, I hope that everybody enjoys this episode.
A podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Deus Ex Media.
I opened my eyes and the whole of Judgment was gone. Or not gone, but faded. I could still see the broken scales and the empty throne, but no black columns, no roar of fire. Even Kata, Khufu, and Amit had disappeared. The cemetery was very real. Cracked paving stones wobbled under my feet. The humid night air smelled of spices and fish stew and old mildewed places. I might have been back in England, a churchyard in some corner of London perhaps, but the writing on the graves was in French, and the air was much too mild for an English winter. The trees hung low and lush, covered with Spanish moss. And there was music. Just outside the cemetery's fence, a jazz band paraded down the street in somber black suits and brightly colored party hats. Saxophonists bobbed up and down, cornets and clarinets wailed, drummers grinned and swayed, their sticks flourishing, and behind them, carrying flowers and torches, a crowd of revelers in funeral clothes danced round an old-fashioned black hearse as it drove along.
Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parents.
I'm Raye, following the path of Geb.
And I'm Charlie, following the path of Bast.
And I'm Blake, following the path of Nehebcow.
I'm so glad that we found the perfect god for you to follow the path of. It took us 5 minutes, but snake with legs.
We did so much research. It's fine. I too am a snake with legs. It works out.
Mm-hmm. I was like, we need to find something for the fabulous snake fashion.
Of course.
And the guy who was a god that was like a serpent dragon guy did not have a page. So this was the next best thing. Snake guy with legs.
The best thing, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I love him.
And then there's the variant where he's a snake guy with arms and legs and a falcon head. There's also a dick there, but we don't need to talk about that. It's not important.
Don't worry about it.
Like it's more the falcon head. That's the vibes, you know? Yeah. Well, like, thank you for coming back here.
Of course, glad to be here.
You want to reintroduce yourself to the people, to tell them a little bit about you, your pronouns, and your Cain Chronicles, knowledge.
Okay.
I know you've read this book before, right?
Yes. So I'm Blake. I use they, them pronouns. And I'm really obsessed with Ace Attorney. I think that's my key character trait.
It is.
But I read the first Cain Chronicles book around when it came out, and then did not think about it again until now. But I did read the book up to this chapter, so that's about the working knowledge I've got, because I don't quite remember how it ends.
That, you know what? That's important, because I'm the one who knows most of the things that happen from here on out, and then Raye does not.
I have approximate knowledge
anything.
of many things.
Did you read the first two books?
Yes.
But you don't remember the second one?
No.
Do you? Exactly. So it doesn't count. You only remember this book.
I have there are characters and things that happen that I'm sure will come eventually.
Eventually. Potentially. Maybe. So today, what did we read? We read, I Have a Date with the God of Toilet Paper. Is this an accurate title?
See, I was gonna say that. She didn't really go on a date. I feel like that's a bit presumptuous of her.
Mm-hmm. But like, as an exaggeration, it's not too far off. Like,
mm-hmm.
they sit and have a chat alone. That age gap
It's
sure
it's a
is
date
hitting.
in some sense. Yeah. They go out of your way to remind you that she's 12, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Am I
literally.
trying to say, this is like the beginning of this for Rick.
Mm.
This is the beginning of his era of like, what are age gaps for children? They're all children. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas
Well,
anyone who remembers middle school knows, no, it is very weird.
No, it's super duper weird. And like you say this is the beginning, but I mean we had Annabeth and Luke in the first series, so
Yeah, okay. Listen, I like to forget that one
me
because
too.
we didn't become a couple.
Yes, as they should not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not a date. It's not toilet paper.
It's neither of these things, in fact. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, also I almost wanted to give it a little leeway because it sounds like something Sadie would say.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely like Sadie named the chapter.
Yeah. So like 3 out of 5, I guess.
3 out of 5 toilet paper rolls.
Okay, you guys want to hear what happened?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd love to hear what happened. It was a very long one.
20 pages, which is not objectively that long, but it's long for us.
It's long when we keep getting like 10-page chapters, then we're like, did we finish in like 30 minutes?
Right.
40 minutes? What is this? Who are we?
Okay, so Sadie, she gets to meet with Iskandar at the Fiery Gates of the West, and they have a nice chat, and he does some ominous foreshadowing, as you do when you're like a ghost or whatever. They make it to the Hall of Judgment. Bloodstained Blade pieces out, and Bast sees a dog, and she freaks. So now it's just the kids and Khufu. They meet up with Anubis and Amit, and Sadie is down bad for that immortal guy. She gets to have a private conversation with Anubis at a New Orleans funeral, and she finds out more about him as a person. Unfortunately, she still likes him. She convinces him to give her the truth feather by being aggravating, and also she has an emotional crisis over a trolley problem hypothetical. And then Anubis leaves, so they head out. Basically, that's
Good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. You're correct. Fun times. Only fun times over here in the land of the dead. Well, do y'all want to talk about some myth things that were in this chapter?
Tell me about this guy.
Yeah, I will tell you about this guy. This is why I talked about Amit earlier, because I was like, this is gonna be too much things, and I already have 2 things to talk about here today. So, in case you missed it.
But
first I'm gonna talk about the birdie that was mentioned, which is like, you know, why we have the feather. Apparently. The Bennu, as Anubis calls it, I think that's how you pronounce it, is apparently like a god, linked with the sun, creation, and rebirth. He's just a bird guy. Like look at that. That's a bird.
A fiery
That is a bird.
rebirth bird, which is just like a phoenix, like he said, but also it's a gray heron.
Yeah. Just imagine a gray heron, but like, you know, he's got a little hat. Because apparently he wears a crown.
Yeah, he's also
That's a
the
guy.
pharaoh.
I love him.
I'm
That's
out
a
of 10
blue
God.
heron, because a phoenix is blue, just like Ace Attorney. See, it's all connected.
Oh, there we go.
This is actually the original Phoenix, right? Yeah, so we have another self-created deity. Love that. Also maybe created the world, you know? And maybe, possibly he's the Ba of Ra himself?
That sort of maybe makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, Ra created himself, right? Sometimes, yeah, most of the time Ra creates himself, so that makes sense. Yeah, he flies over the waters of Nun. That's the only thing that existed before everything else, and landed on a rock and called out that, you know, to make creation, apparently. Sure.
The waters of none. That's kind of funny if there's like nothing else.
Right.
None.
Yeah.
There's nothing and then
I
there's
mean,
something. Oh.
That god is either none or new, apparently. Also, I love that god's vibes. What's your gender? I don't know your gender, but like, listen, you're very fluid. Listen, it's all water. It's all water. Okay. So Bennu is also, I guess, a symbol of rebirth, and so associated with Osiris. Maybe that's where we get this here. Because I'm pretty sure we already like looked up the feather thing before, and it didn't mention the Bennu. So I think this is a Rick thing where he was just like, oh, let's make it this one because like there's something going on there. That's cool. I want to mention another god. Oh yeah, so it does say that the Bennu might be the inspiration for the Egyptian or the Greek phoenix.
Right.
Hell yeah.
There you go. That's why we got that shit.
Potential connection. The phoenix has a lot of like different specifics though. Like it says like Bennu isn't supposed to have like a death like a phoenix is like every 500 years or whatever. So
no, but it is associated with like some type of rebirth,
right.
Apparently. At least according to like some people. And like, you know, associated with the sun. So like there's fire and like there's creation. So like there's a lot of like the same symbolism going off of it. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does.
A lot of the same elements. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of like their Bennu's titles are He Who Came into Being by Himself, Lord of Jubilees. And it's possible his name is related to like to shine or to rise in brilliance. So again,
cool.
some good creation and fiery shit going on here.
He feels kind of like a combination of Ra and Osiris for some reason.
Well, I mean they're both the king gods,
right.
So it makes sense.
King bird.
Yeah, and I think Osiris always wears the same crown, so it also like makes sense there. Because Ra Ra wears like the sun disk, and Osiris wears the bowling pin shaped crown.
Yes.
So I know it has a name, but everyone will know what I mean when I say that. Because it has a very distinctive shape.
It does. It does.
Yeah. So he's pretty cool. I like him. And he's just he's a little guy. He's hanging out.
I bet Rick would say that like bowling pins are shaped that way is like reminiscent of the crown. Like subconsciously.
Yes, he would. Listen. Rick would go as far as to be like, yeah, so like all the Egyptian gods who like wear those types of crowns, they all bowl. Like they're in a competitive bowling league together. I'm just saying. All right, let's talk about Anubis.
Finally.
Our favorite little goth boy.
So did you know that Anubis is his Greek name, actually? Let's see. His Egyptian name, we have a few different versions. We have Inpu, probably also Inpu, or Anpu. That's what we got. He's the god of funerary rites, protector of graves, guide to the underworld, and he's got a dog head.
Jackal.
But it's more than a dog, it's jackal, in fact. His symbols are a mummy gauze. It just says fetish, and I'm like, hello? But that's apparently a specific religious object, which is, interesting. A stuffed headless animal skin, often of a feline or bull. It's tied by the tail to a pole. Okay. I don't know what this is for, but it maybe has something to do with kingship and just ritual animal sacrifice. I'm not sure. But it's one of his symbols, as well as the jackal and the flail. Very, very cool. Very cool. So you want to know who his parents are?
Yes, I do.
They are, sometimes we have different versions. His mother is like basically always Nephthys if she's there, but sometimes it's Osiris, sometimes it is Set, but that's disputed according to this Wikipedia page.
It's got a citation, so you know it must be true.
Yeah, and also Ra, maybe? That's pretty cool. Important enough to be the son of Ra.
Yeah.
Love that. Apparently he's got a sibling who is a bull god who does not have a picture. Bata, and he does have a consort. Sorry, Sadie. Sometimes his consort is his mom. And sometimes it is Anput, which, I'm pretty sure that's actually okay. So have y'all heard that like the Egyptians like to do this thing where they create like two different versions of the god's name?
Yeah.
Like gender wise?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's their consort. But like
it also is just
This
them,
is-
potentially.
This is just like when in kids' cartoons they do the thing where they have like the main male characters and they have the counterparts who are like girls, and they're just the same characters but with like pigtails or whatever.
It's like the Alvin and the Chipmunks and then the Chipettes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Powerpuff Girls and the Rowdy Rough Boys.
Them too. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I mean, if you look at her page, she's got like all like the same symbols. She's got freaking jackals. Like, this is just Anubis, but in drag. So
Hell yeah.
I think that's all that is. I think that one's just a lie. I just don't like that him and Nephthys are together. That's weird. But he does have an offspring. It doesn't say, ooh, we got another serpent god, guys! We got another one! Look at this guy!
Wow, she is beautiful. I love her.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Her name is Kebichet, and it just says that Anubis is her parent, so like Anubis didn't need anybody. Once again proving Anput is just Anubis in a wig. So just saying. Yeah, I love that for Anubis. He's pretty cool. So more things about him. So yeah, protector of graves, he's an embalmer. By the Middle Kingdom, he's replaced by Osiris as the Lord of the Underworld. So I guess he used to be a lot more important before the whole like Osiris death myth and such really came into prominence. But he's always been a psychopomp, like, you know, one of those guys who brings like souls into the land of the dead and such.
Right.
And he's in charge of the weighing scale for the weighing of the heart ceremony. So I still like to think that Amit is just like his little pet. They're buddies.
They're buddies.
Him, Amit, and Osiris. They're all just buddies. Okay, cool. Good to know Rick got this one right. Anubis is depicted in black, a color that symbolizes regeneration, life, and the soil of the Nile.
Wow.
And the discoloration of the corpse after embalming. So that's great. But yes, Anubis.
Rick didn't mention that one.
He's just confirmed goth, okay?
Yeah.
Assigned
he's
goth
already god of underworld, dead, whatever. That's already pretty goth.
Yes, but like you don't have to be wearing black all the time.
No,
but this is just like, no, he is. He has to be. That's his symbolism, guys.
Yeah, Jackal's also pretty goth, like just the animal.
They are, not gonna lie. All right, let's see. What does his name mean? We have a few options here. There's possibly a royal child. To decay. That's pretty cool. First of the Westerners, Lord of the Sacred Land, he who is upon his sacred mountain, ruler of the 9 bows, the dog that swallowed millions, a master of secrets.
Wow.
He who is in the place of embalming, and foremost of the divine booth. I think some of those are just titles.
Yeah, those aren't.
But
Yeah.
But like those are pretty banger titles.
Those are pretty cool, yeah.
Right? The dog who swallows millions.
Millions of what? It doesn't matter.
I mean, he's not the one who swallows the people. It's Amit who does that. But okay,
So the weirdest shit I'm seeing here is in like 350 to 30 BC. They were merging Anubis with Hermes, making Hermanubis because they're both psychopomps.
Yes.
That's
look at the page of Hermanubis for a second. Look at it. Look at how fucking weird this guy is.
What a guy!
In a Greek, the Greek statue, it's just Hermes, but with Anubis's head, and he's amazing. He's great. So yeah, I was gonna get to that, but
okay. I just got excited.
For Anubis are Hades or Hermes, and that's because of Hermes' stuff with like psychopomps and like bringing people over to the land of the dead. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. I love Hermanubis. He's he's just a weirdo.
That's just really Anubis. Like, it kind of rolls off the tongue. It's a good word.
It kind of slaps. It's also a good ship name.
Yeah, that too.
See, remember when we met Thoth and he was just like, wow, they really thought I was Hermes? I hate that. Really rude. It sucks. But, like, you don't hear Anubis being mad at the fact that him and Hermes were combined into a god.
I also like this fun fact that in Plato's Socratic dialogues, he sometimes has Socrates be like, by the dog of Egypt, just like swearing to Anubis.
Oh, Socrates. Oh, Plato. What guys. What beloved guys. So he's a jackal that protects the dead, yada yada yada. Okay, his roles. He is the embalmer. He does the mummification stuff, as we've talked about. Okay, so in the Book of the Dead, there's often like priests who wear like, you know, like masks. It says wolf mask, but I'm assuming it's probably supposed to be jackals because it's, you know, it's supposed to symbolize like Anubis and all of that.
Right, and I don't think that there are wolves in Egypt.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there are, yeah.
There's no citation on this, but I would assume they probably meant jackals. But let's see, he's also the protector of tombs. He protects graves and cemeteries. We love that. Who doesn't just love to hang out in cemeteries and be a fucking goth, you know? So this is like, apparently this goes with like his protection of Westerners. Oh, okay, yes, because the land of the dead is in the West. There we go. That's why it was not clicking in my brain.
Right.
Like,
They're talking a lot about the West in here, but not the way that Rick talks about the West.
Not that West, but the land of the dead in the West where the sun sets.
Right. The west side of the river. Just like, yeah.
It's crazy how West is just like a direction and doesn't actually like inherently mean any particular place.
Yeah. And I guess he who is on the mountain because he like guards the tombs from above and everything. Very cool. Okay, so Anubis protects the body of Osiris from Set. Pretty cool. Set tries to turn into a leopard and like attack Osiris's body. Anubis subdues him, brands him with a hot iron, and then flays him.
Oh, okay.
And wears his skin.
Oh, okay.
As a warning against evildoers who would desecrate tombs.
Huh.
I like how it says, and that's how the leopard got its spots. I feel like I've read about how the leopard got its spots, but I don't remember which one it was.
Oh my god. That is amazing. Where is that why Set is red?
Because he's bloody? No, I don't think so.
Listen. So, is the Aztecs who have the flayed god? That's like a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
In a different culture, that like they have the flayed god, and I'm pretty sure he is also red. So I'm just like, I'm connecting the dots.
Yeah, that feels pretty connected, actually.
So Set, maybe he's red because he's just been flayed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm really glad that Anubis isn't wearing somebody's skin like Buffalo Bill in this particular story.
Well, I mean, isn't he wearing a leather jacket?
Oh my god, you're so right! Oh my god!
Wait! His leather jacket is made of his father's skin! Imagine there's just like Set's face on the back of it. Like oh god. Well, this is gonna inspire when I finally draw him. Okay, so yeah, he's the guide of souls, the psychopomp, as I mentioned. Okay, so sometimes Hathor actually does this and like guides the souls along as well. But it's usually Anubis.
There's an image of the opening of the mouth ceremony being performed, which I mentioned just because it was in the chapter.
Oh wait, where is that?
Oh, it's to the right of Protector of Tombs.
Ooh, Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, I did think that was a cute little quip in the chapter.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so I went to that page for a
I-
second, and it's just like there are various rituals that you might do to make sure that the deceased person can like see and use all of their senses in the afterlife, and also, you know, so that their soul can do stuff.
Yeah. My brain is doing some things, and I'm like, wait,
Are
that
you
might be
expecting more
spoilery.
dots?
So
Okay.
I'm going to continue. And then he's also the wearer of the hearts, as we've discussed at length at this point, because we've talked about Amit.
Oh no, he's
and
the
all
guardian
that
of the
shit.
scales. He did kind of a bad job. They're all broke up.
Yeah, didn't really guard them very well, apparently.
I mean, I don't think it's his fault that like Ma'at is weakening in general. Like he can guard the scales all he wants. They can still decay
Yeah.
themselves.
Hmm.
And I guess the only other thing here is like all the different portrayals in art where he's got the dog head. We love
Woo!
him and his dog head and all of his gloriousness. Now let us talk about the King
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Okay, one more note, which is that it says
Yeah.
that he doesn't have like a ton of myths, but he's really, really popular for worship, which I guess is kind of similar to Hades, where it's like you don't really talk about what your death person does, but you know, you definitely want to give them respect because they're pretty important.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like thinking about death is like probably big constant in humanity.
Yeah.
Big, everyone's doing it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very excited about him. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
Also, just like knowing that the Greeks were kind of assholes about Egyptian gods, but that they were like, Anubis is cool though.
Yeah, I mean, he is cool. Like,
He's
look at
cool.
that dog head, the jackal head. It's very cool.
Everybody likes a good Anubis, a good jackal-headed guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got very distracted because Abby sent me a dinosaur costume on Finch.
Oh.
And I was just like, woo, I got a gift? What's happening?
Oh man.
And I got a pteranodon. So alright, Sadie chapter. Oh, that's our other question we're supposed to ask. Blake, are you a Sadie fan or a Carter fan? Like,
I was thinking about this before, and I was like, yeah, of course I'm the Carter fan. Like,
yeah.
Big move!
like everyone would expect this of me.
Listen, I'm just over here in my little Sadie loving corner. Okay.
I feel bad. I feel like Carter, I think Carter feels this too at this point in the book, that like he hasn't gotten to be as cool as often as Sadie has, and it's like, yeah, sad.
He's doing his best.
He is doing his best. He's trying.
He is a little guy, okay?
Yes.
He will get there. Don't you worry. So, we're going to a very interesting place, according to Bast. And it's you know, it's a gate. It's the gate of the West. Which, hey, remember Anubis and guarding the West and all of that?
Wow,
There you
it's
go.
all coming together.
There we go.
It's all coming together, baby.
Also, the water is boiling and smells really bad.
Well, yeah, it's a lake of fire. What do you expect?
Yeah.
And this is where apparently Ra's sunboat would like pass through and be renewed. And you know, as it goes forth to the new day.
You gotta set it on fire again, I guess.
Yeah, guys, set your boat on fire. This is clearly the answer.
That's what Seahawk would say.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
What's his name? We gotta bring
It's
Seahawk
just
over
like
here.
that guy.
Burn in another boat. Let's go, guys. So, how do we get past this? And this is, once again, another test! Whoa, guys!
They take so
What's
many
up,
tests, it's crazy how they're not even in school.
This one is technically a test, but mostly Iskandar is just like, oh hey, I know you, you're cool. He's like the
Yeah.
bouncer.
Exactly. They mostly just, like, have a little conversation.
Yeah, they have a little
Sadie's
chat.
shit, you really are dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
they've
guy
been
I met that one time.
Okay, so Sadie only really knew this guy for like one day, but like, they had like this really, really
They
nice
had a little
connection. And she hasn't had time to process death and grief yet for this person. And so like this kind of makes sense to me, is that it's like sinking in for the first time, seeing his spirit.
Yeah, because she like kind of hears about it, and like that has consequences for her, but she doesn't like have to think about it at all. And now she's seeing him.
And how does she process her grief? She's like,
you
left us, dude! Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You didn't even get to train us? Okay?
And he's like, I'm sorry, but there's really nothing I could have done for you. And also you're doing great. I believe in you. And she's like, man, this sucks.
He's just like, it was my time. Like, I couldn't have done anything. Okay, you're fine.
Very particular time, though,
Yeah.
Like, he's been alive for thousands of years, and this is the moment he dies, but whatever. It's all about the plot structure.
He could have waited till, like, maybe they weren't in imminent danger from the house, perhaps.
Yeah, if he could have stopped the house from hunting them down, that would have been so nice of him. But, he's like, they weren't gonna do that.
He is possibly just trying to sound wise instead of, like, actually saying, like,
Yeah.
it was the perfect time for me to die. Don't worry about it.
So they go into some more backstory stuff because she's like, so you had us figured out, and he's like, yeah, after the second meeting I knew you were Godlings hosts, and then they talk about his decision to forbid the gods and how he was so upset after Egypt fell to Rome, and like he was pissed at everyone, and he was like, we're not doing this anymore, and then he realized he was wrong after Sadie's mom talked to him, but it was kind of too late to do anything about it. Yeah,
he was a little bit too close to the situation. And then I mean, he did talk to Thoth about it. He was just like, okay, well, if the god of knowledge and wisdom and all of that, so is like, this is probably the best.
Thoth
route.
Wasn't involved in all of this, like, because he's the house's god. Like, they're the library, he is the librarian. Like, that's their guy. And so you commune with him, and he's like, lock everybody up, and you're like, okay, you can stay though, you're cool.
Yeah, like originally when we got introduced to the house, it's like, yeah, Thoth is the only one who's like allowed to still like come here and everything. Right. Everybody else is not. So he's probably the only one who wasn't actually locked up. Maybe he locked himself up. Who knows? But yeah, we get to your mother saw like this great imbalance that Ma'at would be destroyed, chaos would rule, yada yada yada, and
then he apologizes, and Sadie's like, okay, sure, yeah, I accept your apology.
I mean, like, an adult admitting he was wrong to a child, when does that happen?
I mean, yeah, and Sadie even says that. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, like, that doesn't happen very often, so.
Especially a 2,000-year-old adult.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah.
And she's like, so can you tell me what I should do? And he's like, nope, good luck.
You must make a choice. Eventually, foreshadowing, bye. And then he's like, someday you will make an excellent guardian Ba. And she's like, can't wait to be poultry forever.
And then he ignores that statement.
I kind of love their relationship. Like,
I do too. Like they just kind of get along in a nice way. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a good mentor for Sadie specifically.
Yeah.
And it turns out that time was paused for everyone else while she was doing all the talking, and she's like, he's gonna teach me that trick.
Yeah.
Someday, maybe. Yeah, we're going forth into the Hall of Judgment, and Bast is like, I'm so glad I don't have a mortal soul
to be eaten.
Yeah, so we say goodbye to Bloodstained Blade.
We'll miss you, son.
Or as I like to call him, Steamboat Willie. And they
Carter makes a little joke.
Yeah, yes. Stay sharp. Listen. This is just like when Bismuth wore her sharp armor to the wedding because it was the nicest thing she owned. And someone's think, looking sharp.
I think it's like Azula, and she's saying she's commenting on the outfit. It's like, it's so sharp it could sink 1,000 Fire Navy vessels or whatever it is she says. Yes, because it's so sharp.
Yeah, because it's so sharp.
Quality Azula moment.
And we also do, in fact, keep him employed. Much to
his chagrin, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, fine.
Fine.
And now we're going up the steps, and Bast is like, he's here. The dog.
Yeah, get it? Because cats don't like dogs.
Yeah. She gets tackled, and then she runs the fuck away.
And Sadie's like, well, I guess she did say she wasn't brave.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, for about 5 seconds, they could have been attacked by a monster, for all you knew. But, you know,
she didn't like the dog. It's fine.
Yeah,
we're
very
in
cat
Sadie's
moment.
POV, and she's just like, hot guy.
That's true. Bass could have been there the whole time, and Sadie probably wouldn't have even noticed.
So guys, guess what? The plot twist you've all been waiting for. The guy wasn't Nico.
Oh man, darn, you mean this wasn't Nico D'Angelo the whole time?
The hot goth boy who had the same exact description as Nico.
When she describes him, it's very My Immortal. Like, I'm just saying, like, just like the going into very explicit detail about all his clothes, and it's like, and then like the parentheticals. I don't know.
No, you're totally right. And the fact that it's goth also. He was dressed in black jeans, combat boots like mine, a ripped t-shirt, and a black leather jacket that suited him quite nicely. Like, exactly.
It's just like My Immortal.
This is My Immortal. Oh my god. Well, he is immortal.
Exactly.
But is he hers?
You know?
Okay, so Rick, we're not there yet, but Rick like tries to like do a thing of like Anubis like hasn't like matured very much because of the way that time works in the underworld, and like the fact that he's been apprenticed under someone this whole time, and so he's like the immortal equivalent of a teenager, but like, if you're trying to excuse it, why did you make him 16 and her 12, though, still?
Literally! He's still too old for her! If he was 16 years old.
How long have you been 16? A while.
At least Bella and Edward are both like 17-esque.
Right.
You know?
Physically and, like, mental capacity-wise, they are equivalent. Even if he has many years.
Rick, even making him, like, 14?
Yeah, literally.
Way better.
16 is way too old!
Yeah, like, that's just crazy. Like, it's kind of gross. Like, it's just, ugh.
Yeah, God.
Like, because it's like, it would also be like one thing if it was like just Sadie, but like he teases her about it too.
Right,
and
exactly.
It's like, no.
She can have a crush on him. That is perfectly allowed. But the second he starts like being into it, no.
Again, why we were just like, okay, fine, Annabeth has a crush on Luke, whatever. And then, Last Olympian, did you ever love me? No, get the fuck out of here. That. You can go die now.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Like, you're not allowed.
I did have something else to say about this and then I forgot. I don't know.
I like how she has to put in the little disclaimer that she's not boy crazy.
Girl, you literally are. Yeah. She made so much fun of Carter, who was being so normal about Zia. Like,
literally.
Real. And she's like, I literally cannot speak.
I want to know how Rick like got into this character of a 12-year-old girl. Because remember, this man he's a father of boys, and he himself was never a 12-year-old girl. I have questions.
I mean,
on like what his inspiration was here.
Cultural. You just get an idea of what 12-year-old girls are supposed to be like, and then you do it.
Yeah, that's why he says boy crazy, because I don't know, like, did people say that when you were in middle school? Like,
I feel like yes, but I don't know, maybe not middle school. In high school, yeah, kinda. There were some I can't remember if it was like always derogatory about like people who you didn't talk to or if it was like, yeah, my friend is kind of boy crazy. No, but it totally was a thing where you're like, this person is like way too obsessed with romance and like the idea of like guys, and we're all sick of her talking about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's like, her friends are really boy crazy, and they would have teased her, but
for acting like they do.
Yeah.
And then we get the boy in black, Anubis. I'm not a dog. And okay, she struggles to talk to him at all whatsoever. She wants to call him delicious.
Girl, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good amount of cringe here in this chapter.
Yeah, Carter's just being so normal too. He's just like, you know, like, hey, can you give us a feather or whatever? And Sadie's just over here like panicking.
Proof Carter is a straight boy, apparently.
Well, maybe he's just not into Anubis.
Yeah, maybe goth is simply not his type.
Yeah,
perhaps. And then Anubis is just like, I don't deal with the living, but like, you brought a baboon, so I guess I'll talk to you. Which, amazing. So he's gonna let them explain and not kill them, but he is mad that they brought Cat Lady here. So, and he also tries to call them by their god names.
Yeah.
And Sadie's like, well, not technically. I'm just a person.
Isis is visiting. You know, she's pitching a ride.
How much of this like host thing is like anywhere near approaching what happens in actual Egyptian mythology? I'm asking because this is very similar to Stargate, and I'm like, that's also about Egyptian mythology and like people being hosts to like a god who takes over their body or whatever, and I'm like, is just coincidence or
well, it's definitely a thing in Egyptian mythology. Like, we see this in other adaptations and stuff. I'm not sure how much it works exactly like this, but like there is a basis.
Well, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect it to work exactly like this, but yeah. Okay.
Like, I think we've figured out that a lot of this is based on the fact that like the Egyptian would revere their like kings as like Horus or Ra when they were living, and then Osiris when they were dead, and like all of that kind of stuff. And like, you know, certain people were associated with certain gods.
Right.
So
like they would talk about the pharaohs as like embodiments of gods, like not just that they like had the favor of the gods, but like that they
literally were.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where Rick probably got like the whole blood of the pharaohs thing and everything. Like, you know.
Yeah. This all, so it does match up with Stargate. Yes.
Love that. I don't know anything about Stargate, so fascinating.
There's Egyptian gods. They're aliens. What more can you ask for?
Good. Yeah.
There are things you could talk about there, but let's not get into them.
Yeah, those are some sad things that we don't want to get into here. There's one other thing I did want to mention before we move on, but so Anubis is white? Question mark?
Yeah. We already got into this, but not good.
Yeah. What happened to like him and all his black symbolism? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You could always make his like skin even darker or something, like, too.
Yeah.
To go with that.
Yeah, if you look at his imagery, like, on his Wikipedia, like, you know, he has dark skin like all of them do. No precedent for making him pale. And, like, if anything, he might have, like, charred black skin like a mummified corpse. Like,
yeah.
So, no precedent for paleness. Just Rick trying to make a goth boy and doing a bad job.
Yeah, clearly not clear on the concept that like black people can also be goth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, Rick, not great. So,
not ideal.
Sadie is noticing some weird stuff going on. Is this where she?
No, it's not there yet. They walk further in,
Okay.
into
Sorry.
the center of the temple, and so
Yes.
first we meet our delightful little guy.
Yes. Okay.
Little
So
guy.
we see the scales, and curled up beneath the scales is a hippodoodle. I love that sorry, they misgender Amit in this book, and I'm mad about it. So Amit is a female in mythology, and this book is like, Amit, boy, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know
sure.
why. It's weird.
That's a choice, Rick.
A girl can be a little guy and creature, Rick.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would prefer it if it were still little tiny girl and Anubis just had like little girl dog just like hanging out.
Yeah.
It would be so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also, because Sadie's just like, oh yeah, like an Amit is the size of a poodle. I'm just like, oh my god. But like if you saw Amit like with the mist or whatever, like, you know, disguising.
Oh yeah.
Be a poodle. Absolutely. So
I love the explanation here for why Amit is so small, because I'm pretty sure that Rick just makes that up. And the reasoning is Amit only has to be big enough to eat hearts, and this is the perfect size to do that. And I'm like, that totally checks out. I love it.
It's more fun to make the giant scary monster that the you know, the scary monster that you assume is going to be so giant into just like little guy.
Yeah, I don't know. If you placed a human heart in front of me, I think it might be a little too big for me to eat, but whatever.
Well, you also don't have like the mouth of like a crocodile.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So I think that Amit could still eat it, and it'd be fine.
That's fair.
The scales are broken because Ma'at is weakening, and Anubis just can't fix it. So
Tragic.
He's not the guy. He's not the god of fixing scales. He's just the guardian of them. So poor guy. And this is where Sadie's noticing the graveyard that's like overlaying this little hall that's going on here.
And
Carter
Carter's like,
does
what are you
not
talking
know.
about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, huh? What's going on? And then everything has shifted. Now we are in not the underworld. There's jazz going on. We are in a cemetery in Nolans.
Yep. This chapter really is just Carter sits on the sidelines while Sadie does the talking, which is great. Not saying it's not, but yeah.
Yeah, this is her second, like, move into a pocket dimension and have a private conversation.
Yeah.
And so we kind of get an explanation for why Anubis was being so standoffish, which is that he's not a fan of Horus. And so now they can talk freely and like acknowledge that they've met each other before and that stuff.
Yeah. I love the vibes. Have either of you been to New Orleans?
I have not.
Mm-mm.
I love the vibes of all of this. I've been to like the cemeteries there and everything. It's so beautiful. So I'm glad that Anubis is also a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's like, it's so Egyptian how they celebrate death over there and everything. And like parade through the streets for
this is another
celebration
scene
of
that like
life.
stuck with me from being a child. Just like the funeral that is like a celebratory parade, and the explanation of that, like that was always that clicked something in my brain.
Yeah. This is what I request whenever I die. I want a party, not a funeral. Thank you.
Then he makes a bench.
Makes a bench out of toilet paper.
Yep. Don't worry about it.
So that they can chat. Yeah. So Horus is like loud and arrogant and thinks he's better than Anubis apparently, but Isis treated him like a son, and so he's like, no.
I love how deeply awkward all of these relationships are.
Yeah, like this doesn't make it better. It just makes it worse.
And then he's like, "You remind me of your mother," and it's like, no, stop, please.
And then he's like, "No, never mind. Whoops, didn't mean to say that. Ignore me."
Yeah, because she's like, wait, my mom? Like, that's awkward. But also, you know my mom? Hello? She's dead? Is she okay? Like, what's going on here? He's like, can't talk about it. Goodbye.
He's very bad at being, like, subtle or, like, lying or anything like that. He's just like...
Yeah, he's just like, you're so close like your mom. That's all I meant. Let's move on. So...
It's occurring to me now that Carter and Sadie do kind of have the same type, which is like under-socialized, like kind of weird person. Like
That's fair, yeah.
With like email person also, like,
yeah.
Yes. So Sadie's like, are you a godling? Like, you got a form there. Is that a person under there? And he's like, no, I inhabit graveyards.
It's like, sorry, Sadie, your hot boy is a graveyard. So sad.
Just date a graveyard, it's fine, don't worry about it. Sorry, my brain just keeps going to like this Buffy quote where Buffy's just like, yeah, I'm the Slayer, she who hangs out in cemeteries, you know? And that's good. I'm just like, that's one of Anubis's titles, actually. He who hangs out in cemeteries.
And then Sadie says it's not like there was any potential, he's the bloody god of funerals. I think it's always so funny when Sadie uses like little British terms and it's like really out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to British people, they're like very badly done.
Yeah, there are a few other British podcasters who are just like, do better. Talk to a British person for once.
I think this was the book where he was like, oh, I need to do better, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah.
So, she's like, I need the feather of truth. Like, if you can't talk to me about anything, that's what I'm here for, so that I can banish Set and all of that. And he's like, I can't. It's against the ruls of Osiris, who's not here, but, you know.
But I don't want to get in trouble. And I'm like, I also never do anything that could potentially get me in trouble. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
And Sadie's like, fuck the rules, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, and he's just like, where is Osiris? What's going on here? Like all the gods have been released, but and then Sadie's like, he's trapped inside my dad, which Khufu did not explain to this boy.
Yeah, it's a problem with having someone, you know, explain something who is speaking a different language that you don't speak. Like, you don't know what they left out.
Yeah. So Osiris is trapped, Julius is trapped, and Anubis should help, even if he'll get in trouble. Like, Osiris is not here to ground you right now. Like, he's trapped. He will not exist to get you in trouble.
But mostly he's like, so if I gave you this and then you lied, you would like burn up and die. And she's like, what? You think I'm a liar?
Huh? Yeah?
Kinda, but moving on.
And this is where Sadie assumes that, so Set's your dad, right? Huh? Yeah? Because you didn't want to tell me about that. And he's finding her infuriating, which is like, oh shit, he's...
Yeah,
he's enjoying this.
Why hasn't your family married you off to someone far, far away? Son, please. No.
And she's like, do you know what century we're in, actually? And that's where we get the blah blah blah, I'm, you know, not like other boys. Not like other gods. I'm weird. You ever see me about this fucking hat?
That's weird. Yeah, his hat is a jackal head.
So Set is his dad. His mom, Nephthys, gave him to Osiris because he was different and he was raised here. And yeah, he ages weird and everything. So he doesn't fucking know what year it is, I guess.
He could be any age, and he's an age that is inappropriate for Sadie. So
yes,
yeah. Rick tries to excuse this. the quote here is, "I still feel quite young, but the world has gotten old around me." Yeah. Why is he 16 though?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna pretend that he is 14. That is good. That will make me infinitely happier if I pretend that
that's
he is
fair.
14.
Just everything's the same except he's 14. I can live with that.
Yeah. So, yada yada yada. We talk about like the scales being broken and how like what's happening to the souls. Like the souls can't go to the afterlife apparently.
Right, because there's
that's
no
not
judgment
good.
going on. So yeah.
And this is where we get the great joke. Where he's like, I do a ceremony called the opening of the mouth, but for you, Sadie, I would do the closing of the mouth instead.
And she's like,
I
ha
invented new
ha.
ceremony.
So we're gonna give Sadie the feather, but let's have some conditions. Only she can hold it because he doesn't trust Horace. You know, he trusts her, and she must or
She has to listen to Nephthys.
yeah.
If you manage to find her, listen to her. And she's like, huh, that's kind of weird, but okay.
Surely this will not
And-
come up later.
This won't have any consequences.
No, not at all. The only god that we don't know the whereabouts of? Interesting. And then she must answer 3 questions and be truthful. Okay. So, she holds the feather and yeah, it's a phoenix feather. We talked about that.
Rick kind of messes this up because he says it's from a Bennu, which is what you'd call a phoenix, which is not accurate. Like Bennu
Yeah, it's
is
just
a
the
god,
Bennu.
yeah,
It's Bennu.
and phoenixes are based on Bennu, presumably, potentially.
Yeah. So like I get what Rick was going for, like
Yeah,
you know,
but I don't
trying to include
particularly
that.
like the reduction of Bennu, I guess.
Yeah, that's a guy in his own right. He wears a crown for goodness sake. He's not, you know, he's one of a kind. He doesn't have many.
He asks, "Are you
So-
ready?" And Sadie says no, and she's like, "That's the first one, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay."
Second question: would you give your life for your brother? She's like, yes.
Immediately, no
Okay.
hesitation.
And
Sibling
then we
bonding,
get,
I guess. Yeah.
if it means saving the world, are you prepared to lose your father? She's like, fuck you.
Don't ask me that. That sucks.
I feel like she technically could have answered, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think she figured it out by the end, so then she would have
Like,
known.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, like, apparently she did, but I'm just like,
Yeah, it seems like the truthful answer is the yes, I would, but like she just doesn't want to say that. She doesn't want to
Yeah.
admit that to herself or to him.
Mhm.
Uh
He does say earlier, right, that like she can't act in like a untruthful manner, right? Like it's not just that she can't lie verbally, but she also can't act like untruthfully. Is that what he says? Am I imagining things?
I don't know.
I think you said that.
Okay, no, you're right. If I gave it to you and you spoke a single untruth while you carried it, or acted in a way that was not truthful, you would burn to ashes. I don't know what that means. But
Yeah, that's a real vague one. Like there are a lot of ways you could act untruthful.
Be true to yourself.
I guess
Maybe
that's
that's
what it
really
means.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she apparently says the brave thing, and that's what Anubis is like. Yeah, like it's brave to tell the truth, actually. And a lot of people deny like everything about themselves. Like they can't let go of those lies, and that's why Amit devours them.
Right.
So
So Sadie is very hung up on this, and I always thought that this was kind of weird. That she is like so upset by this truth that she feels like she's a bad person for saying this. Because I was always like, isn't the other way the selfish answer? Like,
Yeah.
like
I
saying
think it's because she
would not sacrifice my dad to save the world feels like selfishness to me.
I think it's because she already has like this relationship with her father where she doesn't see him very often, and she's like, well, shouldn't I love him so much that I wouldn't be able to do this? But she is, and she feels like that's like
that makes total sense to me. And I kind of worded what I said wrong because I don't think that that's actually a selfish answer, but I think that like if I was trying to come up with the right answer, I would give the answer that she gave, you know?
Yeah, like, so this also feels very opposite of Percy, you know?
Yeah, his thing is loyalty until the end. And she's like,
and
yeah, if you have to save the world,
If it's the
what you gonna
world,
do?
yeah.
Pragmatism.
yeah. So it's very interesting that we're going with like a very different vibe
Right.
here.
It's almost
Yeah.
yeah. So this is part of what I find so fascinating about this book, and another thing that like stuck with me like eternally is that it's almost like more complicated to make someone make a real moral choice as opposed to like just I push through and I do what I have to do to make sure that I don't like make an unethical choice like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, like, she says, oh, well, the correct answer is I can do both.
Right.
But she's like, what if it doesn't come down to that? What if I do have to make a choice? And that's nice, you know? Like, it is a more, I don't know, mature thing to, like, think about.
It literally is a trolley problem, and you know,
Yeah.
the answer to the trolley problem is whatever you can stomach. Like it's all bad.
Yep, just imagining the trolley problem from The Good Place, where Michael makes it real
Oh no,
and really bloody.
I forgot about that, man.
And all of the blood just like falls on Chidi. Poor guy.
I did not get that far in The Good Place, so I'm just like, oh, okay. Sure, that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, they start teaching Michael ethics. And then he tries to bring the trolley problem to life.
Oh boy.
And Chidi's just like traumatized. So it's great. It's wonderful. Watch more Good Place. It's great.
I should.
What happened? He leaves and
And Sadie immediately asks him what could be considered an untruthful manner by, like, rushing away before anyone asks her questions.
Yep. And she has the feather, and Carter and Kufa are back.
Yes, they're back.
And I guess we're just in the graveyard.
Oh.
No,
I don't. Oh,
we're in New
Oh.
Orleans.
I had thought that they had gone
She does
back
say
to
graveyard, doesn't she?
The
No, they
hall, but you're right.
no they get dumped in New Orleans. They get dumped in the graveyard, so they don't have to sail like the
Fascinating.
rest of the way along.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Because remember, they left their boat. They were like, bye,
Right.
see you
That's
here.
So thanks for the
So-
return trip, Anubis, I guess. Even though you are hitting on a girl way too young for you for some reason. Don't hit on middle
They gotta
schoolers.
Get out of death free card.
You're right. We'll just say
And,
that he's 14.
Yeah,
And then I
I
can
just
stop
wanna
talking
pretend-
about it every time he's there, but like, it's so distracting.
Carter tries to ask Sadie a million questions when he comes back into reality, and Sadie's just like, don't ask me things. I have the feather of truth on me. I'm not talking. Bye. We got it. Let's go. That's the vibe.
Oh yeah. I feel like, does the Feather of Truth compel you to say something? Or does she, or like...
So what started happening when she was like hedging earlier was that it started to grow hot,
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm about to be incinerated if I don't answer truthfully. So
Yeah.
basically, I think it gives you like a warning. I don't think that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
necessarily compelling, but like,
Oh, but what I meant more is, like, if she just didn't answer at all, just kept quiet, would
Right.
that count as lying?
and I'm getting the impression that it does because you aren't being actively truthful, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. Well, that is the chapter, my guys. Blake, would you like to be found on the internet?
Sure. I'm Snake Fashion. If I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Blue Sky technically. Yeah.
Nice.
You are? Wait,
Yes.
why haven't you told me this? I need to follow you. I didn't know you joined more social medias. You didn't even use Instagram, so like...
No, I don't use Instagram. Well, I have an Instagram, and I will open it if a local business forces me to, and that's about it.
That is such a mood.
You didn't really use Twitter either, so I'm surprised. We got new.
I mean, you can like
socials.
scroll to the bottom of my like Blue Sky like feed or whatever. Like, it's not very long. I haven't used it a whole lot.
Just like, wow, you made a new thing.
I did.
I'm so surprised. Amazing. So, media plugs. What media has everybody been consuming lately that they would like to share with the audience?
Well, I've been playing Higurashi When They Cry, which is a series of horror visual novels that are also kind of mystery visual novels. If you know what Umineko When They Cry is, this is like by the same people, but a totally different plot. They're very good, but I haven't finished it yet, so I can't like give a full plug, but I really like it so far.
Everything that I've heard about Higurashi is like so fucking wild. And also there is
it
anime
is
adaptation that
I've heard the anime isn't as good,
yes.
though, so I don't know.
But it is also shorter when like the visual novels are crazy long.
Yeah, like the Higurashi When They Cry is it is a visual novel. There are like no or very few choices within it. It's just like a kinetic novel. And the word count, I know Umineko is like twice as long as War and Peace. I think Higurashi is of a comparable length.
Nice.
I'm 82 hours in. I am like 3/4 of the way done.
Damn.
It is a project, but if you're willing to sit through it.
Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I watched old anime. And by old I mean about 20 years old at this point. I rewatched the original 2006 Fate Stay Night recently. Which is not easy to find online. But
sad.
I did it, and I was like, wow, this is cringier than I remember.
And what more can you ask for in a piece of media?
Because I watched like all the different versions, so now I've seen all the different routes. I had to think of the word. Now I've seen all the different routes that like you can go for like on this adaptation of a visual novel. And okay, my favorite was the Fate route, and now I'm just like, but his Shiro and Saber's romance is actually so cringe. Oh, I think the correct answer is Unlimited Blade Works is just the best one. And that makes me sad because like in I used to like the Fate route the best because it's the only one where like everyone really kind of gets the happiest ending, I guess. Like all the characters are still alive and like they all kind of become friends by the end. And Saber gets to have like this great moment of like realizing that she doesn't have to follow her ideals to the end, and can change her mind and forgive herself. But it's just too cringy of a romance for like listen. We're already talking about how cringy it is of like Anubis and Zia and their whole like we're not great at like modern like romantic rituals and like don't understand things.
I mean, me
Saber
too.
does not. Saber is so much worse. And it's so anime. It's so awkward. I can't anymore. But Unlimited Blade Works is like enemies to lovers. So I think it's the best vibe. Heaven's Feel is just too dark. Just a little too dark for me. Yeah, that's my review.
Mostly I've just been playing a lot of Balatro, and everybody already knows about that, so I'm like, what can I actually recommend? I don't know if I ever mentioned on this show that the Magnus Archives got a sequel show called the Magnus Protocol, and it's sort of a sequel, sort of an alternate universe, and if you wanted a show that has less than 200 episodes, you could just start there, and you would miss some references, but like, it's got a new primary cast and like a pretty exciting horror content. Instead of working in an archive, they work at like a government agency where they are looking into incidents, not looking into, just like cataloging incidents that like their system picks up on, and some wild stuff in there. Guy made a needles, weird clown from TV, person who does tattoos that ruin your life.
Oh.
Yeah, some great characters in the Magnus Protocol. So yeah, I'd recommend that.
Love that. Good times.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you release us from this mortal coil?
I mean, I could do that, but we just like left the Land of the Dead. So
no, man, we gotta go back. I don't know. Maybe we could just hang out in this graveyard. This seems like the right vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Get out of the land of the dead. Then finally, we're gonna go into this graveyard and can we actually crash that party, the funeral party over there, because they're having a great time. I wanna be involved in that. Sounds great. Bye.
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 Of the Eldest Gods would like to thank its $10 and up patrons. This means you're either in the Savior of Olympus tier or the God Complex tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. Thank you all so much for your support, especially Matt, our God Complex patron.
You can follow this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send us a message through the Duat to oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about the Riordanverse or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology, no promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. If you want to hear more from me, Raye, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast's Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with the meme maker Robert called The Bits, where we talk about the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. I also co-host a non-network podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo. Our music was created and produced by Isabel Strauss-Riggs. You can find Isabel at Kane I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel, Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing The Kane Chronicles. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
I'm Christina Kahn.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading,
the podcast about shiterature.
We're here to examine the terrible writing we did when we were younger.
Like that school project you were really proud of.
Or that poem you wrote when you got dumped.
Well, how about that apology letter you wrote to your mom when you got into that fight?
Or the song you recorded before you knew how to write music.
Okay, don't at me. And we're here to talk about other cringy literary topics along the way.
Like the Library of Alexandria.
And Dewey Decimal.
His name was Melville Dewey.
Oh, well, do we want to get the clips rolling?
I don't think I ever recovered from this in terms of being cool.
Why did I say any of this?
I do like the drama.
So there is actually quite a bit to unpack here.
Oh, all this drama was so addictive as a teenager.
There's no punctuation to it. I'll start with that.
I actually have no memory of this.
There were so many lies that I was telling it.
It's not terrible.
No one really taught me how to write a good short story.
That was a journey.
Listen to Burn Before Reading
every Wednesday, wherever pods are cast.
I'm going to try not to sing the Platypus theme, because that's most of the outtakes of every podcast I've ever done at this point. That's all I ever do. I don't know what to tell you guys. I have one single vibe, and that is it.
Deus Ex Media.